think he kicked over 100 goals for Essendon in 1972.
And he was a player in Perth too for Claremont. When I first went to Perth in 75, Jeff Bledden was actually still playing for Claremont.
Right.
So he's been around. That's a good side, Pete. Tim Evans, you've told me kicked a lot of goals that day.
He kicked 5 before he was knocked out and 3 after.
And Dave Granger at centre-half, 3 after he got knocked out.
Yes, I think he kicked 8 for the day, so
right.
That might be giving something away about the last quarter, but it was a very exciting game. In fact, I think Kim Kinnear was carried off on a stretcher early in the game. Darryl Cale left the ground before half-time. Ivan Eckerman, I think, had several injuries, and he just finished the game on about half a leg.
Must have been a tough game.
It was a toughie.
And the great Brian Cunningham was first rover, I've just noticed, looking down the line there. Yeah, it must have been a good battle, Cunningham and Hodgman against each other.
And one of the great Russell Ebert supporters, Max James, was first run-on player too.
Right, ruck rover.
Yes, yep. Max James has hit the news this week, in fact, in that movement to get Russell Ebert back as coach.
Talking of Russell Ebert, he was in the centre in this match too. He played many games for his club in that position, didn't he, Pete?
He certainly did. Hey, stay right with us. We'll come back with plenty more right after the break.
Back on the ball in opposition to Peter Carey. Glenelg taps it. Copping. Cunningham in for Port Adelaide. The Magpies go in again. On the lead is Evans in front position. Destroyed by Caldwell. Weston in support. Edges the ball out. Granger through for Port Adelaide. Hooks the ball back in the pocket, waiting for it. Max James edged off by Caldwell. Well done. And the Bay defender smothered by Eckerman. Great play by the injured one. And a free kick to Ivan Eckerman. 25 metres out. An important one for the Magpies. Eckerman heavily strapped in the thigh. Came back showing courage when Port Adelaide have got Darryl Cale off. Kim Kinnear off the ground also concussed. Eckerman forced to return. Already has 2 goals. Chips away. The umpire starting to move underneath it. I think he's guided it through. 3rd goal. Ivan Eckerman. The shout of triumph. The strain showing on John Cale's face as Port Adelaide edge 15 points clear. 15-9 Port Adelaide. Glenelg 13 goals, 7 minutes into the grand final. The final quarter.
John Cale trying to stay cool. Take off, Jackson on for Glenelg. Carey taps away again. Paul Pleasure across to Giles, up to the forward line. Blethen. Quick turn, goes long into attack. Johnson in front, can't keep it running. Max James loses out. Paul Belton runs into trouble. The ball smothered off his boot and bounces over the line. The Bays with the big contract of coming back from the best part of 3 goals down, but still plenty of time. The throw, James up over the top and will be free kicked. Peter Carey to Jimmy Lehu, not quite to the half-back flank as he takes the kick and fires for centre wing.
Giles in, Corns there, but it's taken away by Jackson. Kicked across goal. Brady has Johnson running clear, but he's coming away on the right boot. Up towards full forward. Great balling mark has been paid to Spry under tremendous pressure. Roy. Poor Pleasure is short, but he's covered now by Hodgman. And White will show experience and go back and kick long out of defence.
He has to keep it away from Carey if he can.
Comes down grandstand side. Carey's going to set himself for it. Blethen over the top. And the umpire in for the bounce. 15-9 Port Adelaide. Glenelg 13-6.
Big crowd around the ball. Carey's tap away, but Sorrell gets it clear. Back to Peter White. Back towards centre wing. Andy Portpleasure out there. Too far. Throw in. Centre wing. 99 points Port Adelaide. Glenelg 84. Just on 9 minutes of the last term played. Carey's tap away. Ebert through. He can bounce his way into attack. Carries it towards centre half forward. Then goes for the lead of Evans. In front it was Johnston. Cunningham swoops onto the loose ball. Snaps back towards the goal square. No mark taken. Chris Herco waits too long. A good tackle, but he's got good backup in Twiggy Caldwell. Caldwell waits. Allowed to play on. Bruce Light finds Max James. Just gets his boot to ball. Noddy Voigt again. Back to Twiggy Caldwell. From the back pocket, the Bays move towards centre wing.
Carey sets himself. Just gets there in time on the half-back line. Hodgman is running out in front of the Rover. Poor Pleasure closing on him now. Thought about playing on, but goes back wisely as it turns out. Hodgman just the attack side of centre wing. Screws a nice looking kick towards the centre half forward position. Voigt back to Jackson. Grubbers one up towards full forward. Phillips there by himself. Phillips closing on him now. Fred Phillips from about 10 metres out hooks it round towards goal. And Hannon rams it through for a point. And the Port supporters breathe again. G. Phillips was about 10 metres clear of opponent there, Ted. Had the ball sat for him quickly. Could have been a goal.
14-point margin in favour of Port Adelaide as Greg Phillips kicks to the defensive flank, the grandstand flank. Tiredness creeping in, not for Kim Hodgman. He gets there, beautifully tackled. No, he's not beautifully tackled. Bling by Andy Porplecia. He's just out of distance, perhaps, 45 to 50 metres. 27th kick to Kim Hodgman, the Glenelg Rover. Taking his time, Carey in short. Oh, gee, there's a dangerous move. Port Adelaide. Didn't see that. Carey must have run 30 yards or loped 30 yards to get there, Ian. Now he's well within the big fella's kicking distance.
Gerlach picked up the move, Ted, but he couldn't make the metre to get up there. Has two. 45 metres out. Carey struggling for distance. It's going to be touch and go in the square. Look at the pack of players there. Fisted through by Hannon. Concedes a point and wisely done by the youngster.
13 points the difference. 13-8. Glenelg. Port 15-9. Greg Phillips this time to the outer flank. Bruce, Max James gets it down to Bruce Light. Out in front of the run of Tony Giles. No, Len Warren. Len Warren into the forward area. Bruce carried away from Tim Evans. Noddy Voigt runs into the tackle of David Granger. And he's been free kick. Noddy Voigt to take it at centre half back. David Granger, he won't change his mind, son. 14th kick to Rex Voigt. Short, dropping back Paul Weston. Between centre half back and the centre line as he takes the kick, goes towards centre half forward.
Setting himself is Voigt. In front, takes the mark. Graham Corns couldn't get off the ground on that occasion. Peter Voigt at centre half back has put in a superb performance. 12 kick. Going to the outer side. But we see a free kick being given upfield by the other umpire. A free kick being given right upfield some 60 metres when Cunningham was tagged. And he'll take the kick just the attack side of the centre circle. Cunningham now to put Port Adelaide into attack. Short pass, too far for Light. Oh, that was dangerous football. Jackson breaks clear. At centre wing, the Bays into attack again. Looking for Rady on the outer side. Warren has to chase and the ball goes out of play. Half forward left flank. Port Adelaide 15-9-99. Glenelg 13-8-86 and we've played 13.5 minutes of this grand final.
Ruckman, Wayne Phillips and Randall Gerlach. Brian Cunningham in front. He's been legged. See what he does with this kick. Getting plenty of leads. 19th kick, Brian Cunningham. Big Spry in the middle of the pack. Pulls one down. Very needed one, that was it. He was outnumbered 3-1. Out wider we find Paul Belton. Into the forward pocket. Andy Porplecia can't make it. Glenelg loses the ball back towards Porplecia. He can run into the goal square. He's got Tim Evans out on his own. Finds that player 25 metres out from goal.
Great play, Porplecia.
Well, he had to suck Twiggy Caldwell in. How would you like to have had Twiggy Caldwell's dilemma on that occasion?
He had to take off Ted. He had no alternative.
However, Tim Evans, he's got 5 to his credit so far. He's got 6 to his credit. Listen to the Port fans roar. And Port Adelaide, 16 goals 9, 105. Lead out on Glenelg, 13 goals 8, 86.
It's certainly a great game of football. 1977 grand final between Port Adelaide and Glenelg. And I don't think I'll tell you who won at the moment, but it wasn't Glenelg. It was a pretty unhappy day, I can tell you. It's a good day here. It's a great day. In fact, the weather is superb, isn't it?
It's the best day for football you'd ever want to see, Pete. There's hardly a breeze. The sun might be a worry to some of the players going for a mark or two, but on the whole, you couldn't get a better day than this. It's just magnificent.
It's fantastic. As we said, our roving reporters were all around Adelaide during the week to talk to some of the personalities about the big game. And here's the Daily Double of the news desk, Caroline and Steve.
Well, here it is, just a matter of a few hours away from the big match at Footy Park this afternoon. The grand final for 87, Glenelg and North Adelaide. Caroline, you're an avid football fan, as we all know.
Oh, yes.
And who will it be at 5 o'clock this afternoon?
For the sake of peace, I hope both. I hope it's a draw.
Well, they're going to be both.
Well, otherwise you and Pete are going to fight, and I just hope it's a draw.
Well, we're going to fight anyway because you've got our money.
I have.
And he's outlated against the Bays, so I'll have to go for the Roosters. I've got no choice. It is North Adelaide for 1987.
Good morning, sports fans. Well, we're only a couple of hours away from the big game today, and of course, only a couple of hours away from Glenelg crushing North. I mean, crushing North. They will spit the dummy out like they did last year. The mighty Bays, home again for 1987. And we'll do it again in 88 and 89 and 90 and 91 and 92 and 93.
Well, it's a great day. We've all been waiting for it, and I can almost hear the roar of the crowd here from North Adelaide. But who's going to roar the loudest? I think the Tigers. They seem to have a bit more in their tank, and if they can pull off the hat-trick, 3 premierships in a row, what a day.
Hi folks, well, unlike our friend Mr Footy Punter Graham Campbell, we here at the newsroom are quite accurate in picking grand final winners. And Craig, looking at today's game, there's no doubt it will be a toss of the coin job.
Well, yeah, I think it will be, but I'll go for the Bays because I think they're a better performing side in finals. They've proven that in the last 2 years, and I do think that they are a bogus as far as North Adelaide goes. I know everyone would like to be sentimental and say North Adelaide can do it this time. I don't think they can, and I'll go for the Bays easily.
Well, I've been behind the Tigers in the past 2 seasons, but even though Glenelg, Craig, have done it the hard way, they've hauled themselves off the canvas to get into the grand final from the elimination final. I like the look of North Adelaide this year. I think their youngsters have matured a little bit, and because I'm wearing a red tie and a white shirt, I'm going to go for North Adelaide. So between us, once again, we can hopefully tip the winner.
For sure, unless it's a draw.
Yeah, today is a day to celebrate the 1987 grand final.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There's play. We'll done it again.
Baxter.
It's his big moment in football.
Well, thank
you, Des.
That's our valet, Baxter Flavel, just pouring us a glass of Seaview. And I guess that's very apt. We're down at the beach, and what better way to celebrate it than a glass of Seaview champagne?
That's very frothy.
We'll be back right after the break, I think.
Enough to have a chat. Then gives him the thumbs up. Pay attention to this corner here. She's right, mate. These are easy to drive, these old Fords. Harvey's off. The two of them will go side by side to the cutting. Super kick. What a manoeuvre. I'll have to come in.
Bathurst roars. A 7 Sports exclusive. Be there.
Do you recognize me? I'm a white cane. I'm used by a blind or visually impaired person to move safely. I can show if stairs go up or down. Because I'm a step ahead, I can find useful objects. And I warn of unexpected things like rubbish bins, hazardous footpath advertising, and bicycles on stands. But there may be a time when we need your help, so if you're there, please let the blind person take your arm. The White Cane Committee thanks you for supporting us.
Wuthering Heights was the first of many great hits for the extraordinarily talented Kate Bush. Now on one album you can hear the whole story.
Out on the wily, windy moors, we roll and fall in green. Babushka, 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 yeah, yeah. We're running on that road, we're running on that hill.
The whole story. The very best of Kate Bush.
Welcome back to Football Park, and the countdown to the 1987 Grand Final is continuing. I guess one of the most celebrated players in South Australia this year has been Bruce Lindsay. Bear in mind that he was captain of South Australia's victorious teams against Victoria and Western Australia. He's also the captain of the touring Australian side under the guidance of Neil Curley. That side going to Ireland, or America and Ireland, a little bit later this month. Let's go now and have a chat to Bruce Lindsay.
Bruce, 1987's been a great year for West Torrens.
Yes, it has, David. I think there's been a bit of improvement there, and certainly with a couple of extra players next year, you know, they'll certainly be competitive with the Glenelgs and Norths.
You've had a pretty good year yourself in 1987, state captain of West Torrens. It's been a good year all round.
Yeah, it has, and you know, from a personal point of view, it's certainly been one that I'll remember for a long, long time. And I'm very proud of the fact that we're also Australian champions this year, and being captain was that little bit extra, you know, of benefit to me and to my career.
Is one of the disappointments is that West Torrens aren't playing in today's grand final?
Oh yes, but I think you know, if the truth be known, you know, we probably finished pretty close to where we should have, considering the personnel that we did have and the type of teams that are playing in today's game, and you know, I think that with their players, we've got to build ourselves around that type of game, and you know, as I say, with a couple of players, hopefully we'll be competitive with those.
And have you got a tip for today's game?
Yes, I think North Adelaide. They've been very, very good all year, and I believe that they've improved by 10 or 15% on last year, and I think that'll be enough to tip them over.
And have you got a margin for us, Bruce?
No, I think it'll be 21 to 30.
In a close one. Well, thanks, Bruce, for your time this morning. We'll let you get back to the breakfast.
Pleasure, thank you.
Yeah, he's not a bad judge, Bruce Lindsay, and Channel 7 and Seaview salutes the South Australian captain for 1987 and Bruce Lindsay. Let's go back right now to the 1977 Grand Final between Port Adelaide and Glenelg.
The premiership is greater than his 3 Magarey medals.
A 19-point margin to the Magpies, and Spry to Cunningham to the lead of Evans. Evans can't complete the mark. Taken away by Weston, and David Johnston successfully marks. A quick play on, they have to move it. Russell Ebert, he can bounce his way into attack. Into the forward pocket he goes. Jeff Blethen is there. The experience of Blethen running into the open space, creating the lead for his skipper to kick to, worked. Jeff Blethen is on a very tight angle. The breeze is blowing perhaps a little right to left across his body. The drop punt on the way, the goal umpire into position, but 1 point only. 20 points the difference. Port Adelaide 16-10, Glenelg 13-8.
John Nichols and Peter Marker looking most concerned, flanked by Chairman of Selectors Alan Crabb. But the kick in by Caldwell's coming grandstand side. Carey sets himself, Spry there as well, in the middle of the pack, taken by Copping. Forwards the ball towards centre wing. Corns in front, Wait from behind, fists the ball out of play. Centre wing, Port Adelaide crowd sensing victory in 1977, the centenary year. Leading by 20 points. Can the Bays come back? Gerlach, Wayne Phillis, Ebert giving it his all. Down to Cunningham. Out goes the short pass. Granger drops the sitter. Paul Cleaser in support. Flanked by Cunningham. Port Adelaide running into attack. On the lead is Evans. A perfect pass. Magnificent football.
15-metre penalty.
Port Adelaide running on brilliantly in this final quarter. The Bays giving it their all. But Evans, only now 25 metres out, has 6 goals. Chance to make himself the mayor of Port Adelaide. 9th kick, and he drills the centre. Port Adelaide grand final. 7th goal to Tim Emmons. And at the 17-minute mark of the grand final, Port Adelaide 17-10, 112. Lead Glenelg 13-8, 86. You're viewing the big replay on Channel 7.
17.5-minute mark, and Port Adelaide lead out now by 26 points. A very handy lead indeed, and Glenelg with a superhuman task in front of them. Spry and Wayne Phillips on the ball. Spry's tap, he's starting to get his taps away. Cunningham, a danger player. Out in front of Tony Giles, throws it away, throwing the ball, quite rightly. Peter McInerney to take the free kick. Glenelg must get that ball into attack quickly. 7 minutes plus time on to play. And the Bays, it goes straight up in the air.
A high kick. Down towards Carey, gets a bad bounce. Farquhar got Johnson clear. Goes over towards that player on the half-forward line. The Bays need a goal. Won't make the distance in the square. Phillips sets himself, they fly. Jackson off the pack, snaps truly. I think he's got a goal. The Bays come back. Great goal. The experience of Sydney Jackson then. As the ball came in high, there must have been 7 or 8 players waiting in the square for the mark, but Jackson read it beautifully in front of the pack as it came off onto the left foot. The kick barely made the distance, but he's put a valuable goal on the board for Glenelg. They trail 14-8 to Port 17-10.
Centre bounce, Carey's knock away. James couldn't get it clear. McInerney runs the ball into attack. And on the lead, Freddie Phillips makes no mistake. The Bays not to be denied. 20 points the difference. Freddie Phillips can make that lead 14 points. Looks good, the goal umpire sees it through. 14 points the difference as the Bays fight back that goal of Freddie Phillips. 2 goals.
Joining me now is Andrew Taylor, the Woodville centre half forward. Welcome, Andrew.
Well, thanks a lot.
Andrew, the prime reason for you being here is that you're the winner of the Main North Nissan Mark of the Year award, and I think first and foremost I'll hand over Main North Nissan's cheque for $1,000 to you for that sensational mark that you took in round 6 against Sturt, I think it was, down at the Woodville Oval.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it was one of those ones where poor old Tony, I think, was a bit set up, and the ball came in fairly high, and I was just fairly lucky that I had a good run in at it.
Yeah. Well, you took a few during the year. Now, tell us about the nose.
I've had it broken about more times than I care to remember. The first time was a kick in the face, and now it's just a change of the wind direction, and she goes now, so it doesn't take much.
Well, I mean, if Snout McFarlane retires next year, and if you're still in Adelaide, you might take over the mantle.
Well, that's it. It's open, I reckon.
Yeah. Actually, Ian Detman was here a little while ago, and I think he wants you to endorse the back of that cheque to him.
Well, he believes he was the bloke that kicked it in, but he actually wasn't. It was Darren Grant that's playing out there now, but everyone wants a bit of it. I was talking to Tony McCarthy at the McGarry night, and even he wanted half, so...
Keep it, put it in your pocket. Andrew, you came from Victoria. I think you started your career with the Footscray Football Club. I don't want to put you under a lot of pressure because it's grand final day and it's supposed to be a fun day, but are you going to be at Woodville next year?
Well, I'm in the...
and you've got to tell the truth?
Yeah, I'm at the moment, I'm, sitting down and looking which way my football is going to head, whether it is stopping here waiting for SANFL to enter the competition or if it's pushing on. But I'm still in the early stages and, deciding. But, we've got a long way to go yet at Woodville, and I'd certainly still like to be part of it, but it's a big decision time for me.
I understand from one of my closest friends in football that you have had discussions with Fitzroy.
Yes, I've spoke to Fitzroy. I've spoke to a couple of clubs, and they're all just been light-hearted talks. There's been nothing. What would you say? Financial put or anything like that. It's just been get to know the coaches and that, and it's been great. I mean, all of them have obviously been fantastic. So, it's just a wait and see still.
Well, we certainly hope you stay here. Who's going to win today?
It's got me bluffed. I really do. I think North are the better side. I believe that they are a lot better than Bays, but you can't write those Bays blokes off, really. I think they've just been in this situation so many times, they know what to do and when to do it, so I've got no comment.
No comment.
What to say.
This man could be a politician if he stays around long enough. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Andrew Taylor, the winner of the Main North Nissan Mark of the Year Award. We'll be back after the break.
Tuesday night, Beyond 2000 comes to Adelaide to show you a special fun park for the disabled and a revolutionary turbo wheelchair. Or check out this amazing fuel-efficient Subaru with a remarkable gearbox.
The car accelerates away up to 50 kilometres an hour without a change in revs.
And Britain joins the space race.
Designed to fly passengers from London to Sydney, Australia in 45 minutes.
Sponsored by AMP, Beyond 2000, 8:30 Tuesday on 7.
I'm a Rocker Brothers rebel from head to toe.
Rockers have the latest from Auto Coat acrylic paints. With over 6,000 colours, there's one to match your car's original colour. 100ml tin, only $5.95. 1 litre of quality primer, just $11.95. Handy aerosol pack, ideal for pre-mixed paints, great for touch-ups or the hobbyist, $7.95. Rockers, for all your paint needs.
You be a Rocker Brothers rebel, saving money, lots of money like me. Rocker 1, Rocker 2.
I'm about to do something that I very rarely do. Recommend a theatrical production. But this is no ordinary show. The story is true. It has a cast of millions. It's full of action and drama. And it tells of the spirit and endeavour of an entire nation. It's about you and your parents and the land we're handing to our children. Where will this amazing story be told? In our first ever National Museum of Australia. You won't just look at our past, you'll relive it as trams rattle and paddle wheelers steam. There'll be an entire gallery of Aboriginal Australia. Big things and small, old things and new. More than a museum, we're developing a theatrical event where you are one of the players. Catch a great preview and a film about it at the National Museum of Australia Visitor Centre in Canberra now.
Welcome back to Football Park, and Andrew Taylor, will he stay or won't he?
Well, firstly, Pete, he didn't mention me getting part of that cut-up. I voted for the man to win the Mark of the Year. No one mentioned that.
No,
no, he did well. That was an outstanding mark, if you recall. He was propelled in the air. He swung around the fella's head. As you said, Tony McCarthy was the guy standing beneath him, which gave him that ride.
And will he stay or won't he?
I think he'll go, Pete. I really think, if you read between the lines, that he wasn't saying he was staying. So I think he'll be going. But if Woodville can talk him into being part of the scene next year, it'll be a big bonus for the new coach, and they tell me it's going to be John Todd.
Yeah, I bet it looks a certainty, but we'll know next Wednesday. Let's go down to the Hilton now, and we're going to talk to, I think this bloke's name's Ian Day, but I'm not sure.
Well, you meet some funny people at grand final breakfast, and this one's an Ian Day. Not the real Ian Day, not the one we know, but another Ian Day.
Yes, well, actually, I feel as though I am the Ian Day, as I'm a little older than the other little chap. But ironically, he has a father called Eric, and my father was Eric, and he's got a son, Timothy, as well. And my son's name's Timothy.
Ian, you don't play golf by any chance, do you?
Down at Kooyonga, yes, but I'm off 12, but he's off 4, so I think he's a little bit outdoes me as far as on the golf course. But today's the day that I'm desperate for North Adelaide to win, being a staunch North Adelaide supporter.
Have you got a margin for us, Ian?
Well, I'd say we could win it in the last quarter by about 25 points.
Well, that's a close one. Ian, I've got to ask you, Organon, what's that company?
That's a hormone company based in Holland, and we make anabolic steroids, for which a person like Dr. Brian Sando out at Norwood, who's the Olympic club doctor, says that those things are banned. So we have a lot of discussion at times with Brian about this.
Yeah, well, I won't go any further with that. Peter Marker's got a great story about how you make a hormone, but I suppose you're the man who could really tell us.
Well, being with them for nearly 30 years, I dare say I suppose I can, but I'm a grandfather now, so I won't get into that.
So it's the Roosters to win this afternoon?
It sure is. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. We're at the gates now to Football Park, and the crowd is certainly rolling in. As you know, this game was sold out some 2 weeks ago, so there'll be 50,000 pretty excited, screaming fans at around about, say, 1:30, 2 o'clock, when everything warms up for the big one. Ricky May is the pre-match entertainment.
Well, I'm a fan of Ricky Mays, to be honest, Pete. He spent a few years in Perth. He was a top entertainer over there, gone to Sydney, and he's a big man.
Certainly
he can
is.
belt out a song too.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. Stay with us for that. Also, the Southern Stars at the half-time of the big match. 270, in fact, active performers, choreographed superbly by Lynette Edwards, South Australia's leading choreographer. Don't miss that. We're going to cover all of that right through the half-time break. Stay with us right through till 5:30, and then Hardy's Heroes right through till 6 o'clock. Total action today on 7 Sport. Let's go back 10 years and rejoin that big match, the 1977 Grand Final, Glenelg and Port Adelaide.
2 quick goals, and the grand final's not over yet. 14 points to difference at the bounce.
Spry and Phyllis again. This time James gathers cleanly, goes towards the wing. Bruce Leiter's there, outnumbered, but locks the ball up under the bodies. Just outside the square, towards centre wing. Phyllis and Spry again. This time Spry takes possession. Max James tears clear towards the forward line. Caldwell and Evans. The bounce of the ball towards Eckerman. Gets a foot to the ball, but offline. 1 point only. 21 points the difference. Port 17-11. Glenelg 15-8.
15 points, Ted, not 21.
Sorry, 15 points, Ian. Thank you. Twiggy Caldwell. Towards the half-back flank. Corns with 2 bites, couldn't quite get there. Poor Pleasure. Pulled off it. Copping. Goes short. David Holst. Towards the centre of the ground. Max James in late. Carey spoiled. Ebert. Hand pass into the open space. Corns was there and the boundary line. 15-8 Glenelg, 17-11 Port.
A desperate struggle. A tremendous struggle. A great grand final. Wayne Phillis gets the tap. The handball goes from James towards Belton. Through comes Voigt. A typical dash of the ball. Players throw tired bodies on top. And another bounce.
Right, gee, Max James looks tired.
He can hardly raise his gallop. A bounce on the half-forward line. Port Adelaide slightly in attack. Spry gets up high. McInerney grabbed there by poor Pleasure. And once more, can't get it clear. Players giving their all.
Poor Pleasure being sent to the back line.
A whole season of sweat and toil. And these are the last closing minutes of 1977. Great mark in defence by Tony Giles, is it?
Yes.
Coming up, very sore. He lobbed on his back. Peter Voigt breaking clear on his flank to help if needed. Tony Giles' 10th kick from the half-back flank.
Tony Giles, who came on during the second quarter, has played well on that half-back flank, as they all have. Blethyn in front. The back James couldn't take it. Yes, it's been paid to James. No, it's been paid to Blethyn. No, James.
If he can get up to take it.
He cannot get up to take it. 23 minutes played, 2 minutes plus time on. In a 15-point margin to Port Adelaide.
There's been 7 goals in this last quarter, Ted, so there could be at least 3 to 4 minutes or maybe even 5 of time on. That gives about 7 minutes left in 1977.
Gerlach leads, but James kicks longer towards the pocket. All Glenelg. Wayne Phillis hates the mark in the back pocket. Glenelg now need to move the ball again up forward quickly towards the height of Carey and the leap of Corns, and it's over the top at the height of Carey and the pace of Hodgman towards the forward line, but again Tony Giles stands firm. Sid Jackson under the ball, the pass not good. Tony Giles looks for a lead and can't get one. Port Adelaide haven't got the run at the moment. Up in the air it goes. Granger in front. Corns reads it best, takes the mark. Glenelg look to have the bit more run in their legs, Ian, to me.
Hodgman, Ted, they certainly haven't given up. 24 minutes into the final quarter, but they've got to score 3 goals, and they've got 3 to 4 minutes to do it. Hodgman, short. Weston, the handball has put Johnson under pressure from Belton. Light there, a chance for Port Adelaide now. Light under pressure too, runs it towards Ebert. Ebert's flanked now by poor Pleasure. Port Adelaide's going once more. A long kick towards full forward. Chris Herco, Johnson can't get it. No, he's been paid. Peter Johnson paid the mark, about 25 metres out. The sands of 1977 running
Port
out for the
Adelaide have
base.
run an extra man in defence, which means there'll be one light in attack, Ian.
Closing it down, Ted. On the half-forward line, Lehu, Sorrell, Corns. Sorrell comes out with it. Cunningham, short as James, finds that player, and no doubt James will go back and take more valuable seconds to eke out 1977. Max James, almost into time on, towards Evans. Twiggy Caldwell comes out of defence, drives long.
25-minute mark and Glenelg into attack. Carey there fighting, Spry there also on top of the ball and a bounce. Almost on the half-forward flank for Glenelg. What a bruising encounter it's been. No wonder the players are starting to tire, as well they might. Nobody goes for the knock. Ebert can't break clear. Holst does, and then Peter White threads his way through the pack. Jimmy Lehu gets under it. Glenelg will go back into attack. Looking for leads. Waits too long. It's out in front of Daryl Rady. Doesn't set for him. Len Warren through. Locks it up underneath him. Sid Jackson in on top of it. Tony Giles also arrived on the scene and a bounce down between centre and centre wing. 1 minute of time on play. 15 points of difference still. David Johnston with the ball out towards the flank. Warren gets the bad bounce. Daryl Rady, who's had 2 bad knocks in the leg, can he muster enough pace? He does. He gets it out to David Johnson. He can run to the goal square if he wants, but he drives the kick in. It's touched through. 1 point. The Bays needed that goal. 15-9 the Bays, 99 points. Port 17-11, 113, a 14-point margin.
Kick in by Phillips. On the lead is Belton. Belton in the back pocket will lock it up a bit more. Hannon runs on. So does Cunningham. But Belton taking seconds, valuable seconds. Back towards centre wing. It's all copping there. Fisted away by Sorrell. Chance for Blethen. Poor Pleasure going past. Port Adelaide into attack once more. Towards the half-forward line, Granger. Johnson back there and the ball out of play once more. 2 minutes into time on. 14 points in favour of Port Adelaide. The Magpies hanging on like grim death. Granger exhausted. Everybody exhausted. A tremendous final. Glenelg hooks it back, but it's straight to Voigt. Hodgman having a great grand final. Short. Farquhar at centre wing. Not a lot of run there from the Bays. They've got to play on quickly. It's going to be short. Hannon throws himself at the ball. Jackson in late. And Hannon goes down. Good solid shoulder-to-shoulder bump. Tony Hannon's okay. Played a fine game. Only a teenager. Standing into the back pocket for the injured Carl Fragamini. And the youngsters got a chance maybe of playing in a premiership side in 1977.
Brian Cunningham, who's been a good player for Port Adelaide all day, and particularly the last half, with his 24th kick. Towards the half-forward flank, free Port Adelaide, Guernsey's there, but Graham Corns pulls in an almost miraculous mark. And the half-back flank as he takes it. 3 minutes of time on now, ticked away. The sands of time running out for the Bays as Spry spoiled. Porplesia there, copping to Hodgman. Into the open space. Holst into trouble. Bruce Light bumps him out of the play. David Holst unsighted from the tackle of Light. Goes to ground and a bounce necessary. David Holst badly winded. Peter Mead whistles time on. This will add to added time in the last quarter. Can't be whistled up, can it? Ian, once we're into time on, of course. A bounce. Comes towards Corns. Into the forward line. Freddie Phillips, the strength won on that occasion. The strength and the experience. 4 minutes of time on played. And 14 points the difference. Freddie Phillips can make it 8. 9th kick to Fred Phillips. Freddie Phillips has kicked 2 since going to full forward. Looks pretty good. He's threaded it through. 3 goals to Freddie Phillips and an 8-point margin in favour of the Magpies, and 4.5 minutes of time on play. Can the Bays get out of this one? John Cale would love to know the answer.
What an incredible fight back. Full marks to Glenelg. They looked for all the world that they were gone. Port Adelaide leading by about 5 goals halfway through the last quarter, but the Bays' courage has fought them back. They're 8 points down. 5 minutes into time on. 2 goals will win it for them. Can they do it? At the bounce.
The ruckman, Glenelg and Carey. Carey's tapped down to Hodgman. Over towards the half-forward flank. Rady forced to battle against Bruce Light. Goes in shorter, looking for Paul Belton. Finds that player. Cunningham running into the forward line again. Herco, tall, leaves it behind. Going forward is James. High it goes. Evans there, knocked away by Johnston. Hand passed away by Johnson, comes to Herco. Noddy Voigt's there, the hand pass towards Johnson. Bruce Light intercepts beautifully. He has Evans loose in the pocket and fires to that player. He marks and will take as long as he can to kick the ball.
Look at the tension on John Cale's face. In fact, the whole camp of Port Adelaide. This is it. Can it be for John Cale? Imagine what's going through his mind.
7 goals so far to Tim Evans. The kick is going across the face of goal and will go out of bounds on the full. Still a margin of 8 points only, and Graham Corns to try to get Glenelg moving up forward. 31 minutes played in the final term.
Corns back towards the half-back line, copping in there. Leo Lethen comes out, dribbles it along the line, but once more valuable seconds ticking by. Ball out of play, full forward pocket. 7 minutes of time on. Port Adelaide, there it is! Port Adelaide, the Premiers in 1977, centenary year, and triumph for John Cale. One of the greatest South Australian players ever. He has now achieved the ultimate, coaching Port Adelaide to the Premiership in 1977.
Marvellous game, the 1977, should I say. I've said that before, grand final. In screen now, 2 umpires, the shorter of the 2, Des Foster. He umpired in 4 grand finals, and Murray Ducker, of course, alongside of him, umpired in 6 grand finals, and he officiated in the 1973 grand final between North Adelaide and Glenelg, the last one to be played at Adelaide Oval. Well, here's a man that knows a lot about Magarey medals and grand finals. He's been in the news a lot lately, particularly this week, and he's often been asked what does he treasure most, a grand final victory or a Magarey medal? He'd take a grand final victory anytime. Russell Ebert.
I remember one particular incident in the game. You were making a run at us in the last quarter, and Kimmy Hodgman's run back to the centre after you'd kicked a goal, and he said 2 more of those and we've won the game. And I think that comment and the round the ball players heard that comment, and I think that's what really snapped us back into reality. That I think we were 7 or 8 points or a little bit more up at that stage, and that comment really sort of sparked us and got us back to reality and said, well, geez, we've got to do something about this, otherwise we're going to blow another grand final.
It's taken us a bloody long time, but by Jesus, worth it.
Very interesting comments there from Russell Ebert, and as I mentioned before, he's been in the press a lot, particularly this week. I don't think I've ever seen Russell more accessible to the media or more in the media than he has been during the week, and I would think that saga will continue probably for another 3 weeks before it's resolved. Stay with us, more football right after the break.
Who's the dealer of the future?
Main North Nissan, new and used. We go one step further, you can too.
Main North Nissan is the only place to go for new Nissan Pulsar, Nissan Pintara, Car of the Year, Nissan Skyline, and the dynamic Nissan Navara range. Why? Because at Main North Nissan,
we go one step further, you can too.
Main North Nissan, 75 Main North Road, Nailsworth.
Here is some important news for people with diabetes. Through Diabetes Australia, Commonwealth Government subsidies are now available for your insulin syringes and test strip requirements. The subsidy scheme is effective as of September the 1st, and you must register to be eligible. Information and registration forms are available now through your state or territory diabetes association or branch, hospital diabetes clinics, or by writing to GPO Box 9824 in your capital city.
Probably more than anything, just this low self-esteem. Kids don't feel good about themselves. They don't like themselves. And, you know, that's a big problem. And this is our next generation of leaders. And they need to know that God loves them just the way they are. Jesus really has been the big difference in my life. He's our only hope.
Many years ago, this country was the gem of the pearling world. Today, Australia still leads the way when Malcolm Douglas travels north on a brand new adventure.
The biggest and best cultured pearls in the world.
The Pearling Coast, a fascinating first release special that traces the early years and the trends of today.
On the table, several $1 million worth of gleaming pearls.
Stunning wildlife, fabulous fishing. When Malcolm Douglas presents The Pearling Coast, a World Around Us premiere, 6:30 Sunday on 7.
Well, as we all know, the Rocker Brothers Sharpshooter Award of the Year was won by John Roberts, the erstwhile North Adelaide full forward who transferred this year from many years at West Torrens, and he kicked 102 goals, I think it was, in the minor round to win the award. We now have Ian Day speaking to the goal-kicking winner, John Roberts.
Rocker Brothers have been great supporters of Seven's Big League Replay this year, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Rocker Brothers Sharpshooter of the Year Award, kicking 102 goals, North Adelaide full forward John Roberts. John, congratulations, a fine effort. Has that been your best effort to date in kicking goals?
Yeah, it's the first time I've kicked 100 goals. I kicked about 85 and 85 with Torrens, so it's definitely my best year so far.
When you went to the VFL, did you ever score a mammoth total over there? What was your best effort with South Melbourne, then South Melbourne?
67 goals in a year and a couple of sevens here and there during the year.
And what about this season? What's been different to any other that makes you or has allowed you to kick over the ton?
Well, the team's been successful. The ball's been in the forward line, and I've been near the ball as a result, and therefore I kick more goals.
John, it's been a wonderful year for you, and of course this afternoon it could be even bigger. John, on behalf of Rocker Brothers, I'd like to present you with a cheque for $1,000. That's an awful lot of money, and congratulations on behalf of Rocker Brothers. You've been a champion full forward this year, and North Adelaide obviously have great faith in you for the final.
Thanks very much, Ian. Well, I can only thank Rocker Brothers for making this award possible, and Channel 7, and thank all the people at North Adelaide that have made my success this year so possible.
Well, John, I'm sure that you'll say to everybody out there who's listening this morning or watching this morning, Rocker Brothers on the Port Road, if you're a handyman, you've just got to go down there and see what they have to offer.
Well, I've got to admit, there's a great picnic atmosphere down here today at Football Park. A bit like Oakbank, I guess. I've never been to Oakbank, but I believe it's a great picnic atmosphere there also. After this break, we'll be back with more football on Grand Final Day.
To have a chat. It gives him the thumbs up. Tom Hopkins on the scoop. Pay attention to this corner here. She's right, mate. These are easy to drive, these old Fords. Harvey's off. The two of them will go side by side to the cutting. Super kick. What a manoeuvre. Nearly I'll have to come in.
Bathurst roars. A 7 Sports exclusive. Be there.
Are you all right?
Oh.
There may be a time when you'll need help desperately.
Hey, Brett.
That help could be closer than you think. This sign on the side of any ETSA vehicle shows there's a two-way radio on board and an ETSA person close by who can quickly contact emergency help.
They're on their way.
Suddenly, danger faces our young raiders of the lost Cocoa Pops.
You'll never reach your crunchy chocolate milkshakes alive. We'll perish. You can't stop us. They are guarded by a fierce beast. What can we do? Who can we turn to?
Never fear. Coco is here with your crunchy chocolate milkshakes.
Our heroes survived breakfast again, thanks to Kellogg's Cocoa Pops.
Coco! Because they're just like a chocolate milkshake. Only crunchy.
For all you truckers on the move, Truck Stop Hits, the best trucking album of the year, Dave Dudley. Waylon Jennings. Eat up those miles with Dwayne Eddy, Alabama, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Kenny Rogers, Tom Jones, Eddie Rabbit. Truck Stop Hits, the #1 trucking album of the year.
great year, and if you don't take that final step, well then it's all worth nothing.
Jimmy Barnes there with no second prizes. You're a fan of Jimmy Barnes, aren't you?
Well, I am, Pete. Yeah, I like a bit of that rock music. You know, I thought his sort of music does set the sort of tempo, if you like, for taking marks and the bumps in football and that sort of stuff. It's good.
Pretty apt for today too. No second prizes. If you lose, you're out, and you've got to start all over again next year. But at the moment, we've got our erstwhile reporter out and about, and he's talking to a man now of many talents, Sir James Hardy.
Sir James, how do you see tomorrow's game?
I think it'll be just a super game, and the fact that they're doing it for the 3rd time in a row should be just marvellous.
Now, you're a yachting man, and you've known defeats, you've known success. Now, do you feel that Glenelg is a psychological advantage, as in yachting? If you continually beaten the yacht, do you believe they've got one for the game?
Yes, they have, because if you've done something once, you can do it again and again, and I think that North Adelaide should win, but I'm afraid that when it comes to just the mind, Glenelg have that winning edge, I think.
North Adelaide, I think, this year have shown a lot more maturity. They seem a lot more disciplined as a team. And so I really believe that they've got the capabilities. They certainly, so both sides have shown during the year that they each have the ability to win. But I think North, because of the additional stability, I think, on the side, and the extra belief in themselves, and I think they would have learned from last year that they now know what it takes.
South Australian cricket captain David Hooks. David, how do you see the big game?
Well, I think it's going to be a thriller. I think the first quarter is going to be something outstanding here this afternoon. I guess North have probably been the best side, arguably, over the last 2 years. But the ultimate, of course, is the premiership today. And I think North probably deserve to win it. And as such, that they may have the sympathy of the majority of supporters here, and they make it up.
I think the great thing is it's going to be one of the best games played in Australia this year by 2 of the top teams in Australia from the state which is the champions of Australian football. So, you know, we've really got something to demonstrate to all those who are going to be watching the telecast, that you can do it in Adelaide and it's the best.
As a North Adelaide supporter, you don't think the team will suffer from the nerves like they have the last 2 times?
Well, they've done everything possible this year to try and eradicate it, including winning even more games in the minor round. I don't think they could be better prepared.
Yeah, welcome back. We're in the car park of Football Park at the moment, and marvellous to hear from Sir James Hardy there again. By the way, the reserves grand final between Woodville and Central District will be starting a little bit early today, Graham, and Rob Carruthers, who is the World Junior Power Lifting Champion, just back from Lima in Peru. At the half-time of the reserves, he will be attempting a world record.
World record, yeah. Well, I'm not into weightlifting, really, or powerlifting.
Well, you're going to have to be at half-time because you're going to have to sit there with me and call it.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. I really do love powerlifting. It's good. I'll have a quick, if you like, crash course in what it's all about. But apparently he lifts over 300 kilos, is it?
We'll get into that a little bit later on. Hey, what about the budget today? It's a 100-pager?
It's a one-off, Pete. It's $2. And it's the best $2 value of all time. It's got everything in it about the competing teams. It's got photos of a lot of people involved with the game, and it really is a classic. And I can't. Oh, this is, as far as I'm concerned, collector's item.
It's a marvellous souvenir. Well, the countdown to the 1987 Grand Final continues after the break. The reserves Grand Final with Rick Keegan and Ian Day.